Yo, what's up, world? What is going on? Happy Monday to everybody in the building. What is the good word, y'all? Virginia Bushcrafter, what up? Backwoods, what's up, young fella? Willie in the building. What is going on? What is the word? Hey, listen, man. I hope y'all had a dope weekend. I hope it was nice. Hope everybody got to do something exciting, hanging out with the family and friends and etc. etc. Silverback, what up? What's going on? What's popping? What's popping? Oh man, Jay, what up? Hey man, we was talking about you today, Jay. Man, you did something special with that damn 320. That shit looks nice. That should look good on the show the other day and on Instagram. Tech Money in the building. What up? What up? Arms man, what's popping? Dennis Dixon. Everything's smooth. Everything's smooth. Chilling, chilling, chilling. Hey man, it's a little different today, right? Flying solo. It feels kind of weird. It's weird, but Alex got a damn book report due, and you know how these seventh graders are, waiting to the last minute. So they're preoccupied, busy for the night. I shouldn't have said nothing because a lot of people in here to see Erica. I know how that goes. A lot of people in here to see Alex. Y'all stuck with my ugly ass face tonight. But we'll see what it is, man. It'd be good. Urban, welcome, young sister. How are you? How are you? Feeling good? Feeling good? Yo, man, listen. So the weekend was kind of smooth. I didn't get to the range. Um, we had a couple things to do around the house, but we got out and about and hung out and did some stuff, some things. Nightline, what up, brother? Let me give you that. Let me give you that because that's how we do it. That's how we do it. But either way, hopefully everybody had a wonderful weekend. Rodney Brady, what up, brother? What's going on? Um, I didn't really, I got something else going on though. I got something dope going on that I've been waiting for a long time. So I'm gonna have some interesting, some dope content coming out shortly. I promise you that. But either way, it's good to see everybody popping in, hanging out, hanging out. Hopefully, everybody got big plans for next weekend too, man. Some cool stuff coming up in the bag. But hey, man, I don't want to waste too much time because listen, I know this conversation done started from place to place. We touched on it a little bit on Sunday night on RGG's channel, and it needs air. But that wasn't the time nor the place to do it. See Smooth, what up? Long Island in the building. What's going on? So I figured, I think we started that conversation a time before that, and I don't know if there's any end to that conversation, or right or wrong, or nothing like that. It's all opinionated, opinion based. A regular gun guy, what up there, young fella? What's going on? So, so I wanted to tackle it here and see how far we get, and as long as everybody keeps it smooth, friendly, gentleman like, we're all gonna have different opinions. Earlier, I had put it on Instagram as a post, and believe me, it's like people wanted to talk about it right then and there. So, um, Joseph Harris, what's up, young sir? Juan Perez in the building. What up? What up? So I am going to early on uh, go ahead and open up the platform. You know how it is, how we do over here. Um, this is a comfortable place for you to speak, but just be respectful. Shaggy Rifleman, what's up, young fella? Be respectful of other people's opinions and insight, and like I said, in this topic, uh, nobody's right and nobody's wrong. It's just going to be our straight up opinions. But um, when you purchase a firearm, or when you first buy, uh, what's your opinion? What's your thoughts on the ability to walk into a store and walk out, no questions asked, as opposed to having some type of introduction, training, however it may be. My cart runneth over, young lady. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Coy, what's up, young fella? All right, here I go. I'm dropping that link and let's chop it up. Bullyproof, what it is. What's popping? Fat guy with guns, my brother. What's going on? So listen, man. That's just it's really a sensitive topic for a lot of people, and a lot of people kind of sit in the space that I'm in, which is a hell of a I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that. Now, let me give y'all a little history on me and my family. I think out of all of us that do shoot, Alex is the only one that's had formal training. As far into firearms as I am, I've never been to a class. I've never been with a personal trainer. I've never taken any group situation training at all. Generally, everything I knew or come to know is from self teaching and YouTube and friends and community being on the same, nearly the same page for the most part. But not for a second did I ever outsource lessons, knowledge, or information to, to be a firearms owner. You know,
Yo,
what up, big brother?
what up, man?
Hey, nothing. How you feel?
Am I yourself?
Not bad. You look like you got a new camera, bro.
Nah, this is the same camera.
It looks good.
Thanks. Yeah, same camera.
Maybe it's that hat. Everything popping in colors is right.
All right. What up, backwoods?
What's up there,
What's
fella?
up? How y'all doing?
Good, how you
Nah,
doing, man?
everything's
Work.
smooth. Work. Don't say that word, man, because I've had enough of it today. Walt E, what's going on, young sir?
Well, man, I had to jump up and ask a question real quick, though, man.
Go ahead. I am not single.
To my family, Mr. Billy. Was that a minivan you was in today on that short?
The black one?
The car you was riding it. Was that
No.
a minivan?
Oh, it was a full size van with no windows. It was white.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that. I apologize.
No, that was my work truck, man. I'm out there trying to make the moves, make $1 or two. Armel, what's going on? 2 Out for Life. Skilling near Walton, James Wells. What up, brother?
Skilly.
Oh, gentlemen, look. I just confessed
Mm.
that I have never had formal training. I have never touched it, and every now and again I think about doing it, but I don't know if I would go back to a proper basics like firearms 101. Am I locked into what I think I know about firearms enough to accept, that simple as here's a stop sign, you stop at that. Here's a yellow light, you approach with caution. I don't know if I'm ready to relearn.
I've taken that basic class like 5 times now since
Yeah.
I've had my CCW. Since I've been an instructor, I've taken the class after. It's fun, man. It's just a refresher.
True that. Hey, Siege, what's up, young lady?
Well-
Wait, Syndicate, what up? What up, CT? What's going on?
And then teaching the class too, you teach it and then just go have somebody else say it to you because you always get different perspectives. Like I've sat in classes of my friends who are instructors that just been in that class, taking a basic course, just sitting there, just sort of ordering it.
True that.
What? I mean, man, it's really hard when you sit and read that. Should training be mandatory to buy a gun? And it's just like,
See, that
man,
mandatory
I
word
don't,
catches everybody.
man. Well, it's for me because I'm 50-50 on it too. Because I know some fools, man. I mean, I know everybody does, man. I know some fools, dude. And look, I dealt with a dude at a party one time, man. It was just a little gathering, you know what I'm saying, just the fellas and stuff, and man, he got a little too much drink in him, man. He had his firearm on the side, man. And he would draw it out and be like, man, do this and I'll do. And I was like, dude, put your gun up, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was just, man, I mean, just being honest with you, I disarmed him, man. And me and two other guys, and like I stood in front of him and actually took the gun from him, man. And it was hot. It was ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I cleared it, and you know, boy, see, that's where when you know folks like that, man, you that side of you wants to be like, yeah, man, these fools need some training, man. You know?
And it exists, you know. Now, here's my understanding. It's not necessarily going to make anybody a great shooter, nor is it going to build their character. Training. Now, I'm not talking about you buy a gun and you got to go do a 2-day fucking training course, crawling through the mud and clearing rounds and all, etc. But the most simple basic of basics to let somebody know that sold you that gun that you are capable of leaving here without harming yourself or another person before you leave the damn parking lot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my stance on it is, what up, Skilly? I think because and we've had this conversation. I think you should be able to go in, buy your gun. My thing stops is when you want to have that gun around the public.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think you should have some training for. Now, if I want to go buy me a firearm and I want to take it in my house, now we've had this conversation too, Billy, where there's still responsibility that you have because if you have children or your family or whoever's going to come into your home. But that's your responsibility. That's inside your home. Those are your people. But where my stance is sort of is, I wouldn't say it should be mandatory, but if I'm going to take my firearm and be around other people that are not my people, I think you should. I mean, it's the same. There's no difference if you're going to learn how to drive a car, man. I don't think it is. Like I said, a car is a weapon. That's an 8-ton, 5-ton, whatever. If I needed to, I can mow something down if I needed to. So I don't see any problem. I think it's just common sense. We've taken that word common sense, especially when it comes to firearms. We've made that word mean something nasty when it's not nasty. Common sense is basically that.
Yeah. But you know what? At the same time, along with common sense, I don't know who and when the 4 basic rules of firearm safety were created, but those I think are something that should be reiterated during a purchase. You know, even I know those seemingly would be common sense, but now I know I violated at least one of those, which made me kind of generally violate all of them. It's happened.
You want to know what's funny is they put these ATF things inside the guns. I know they do it in Ohio. Now I can't tell you what they say because I never look at them. So for all I know, they could say inside of it, "Hey, you should do this." Matter of fact, hold on, I'll be back.
About to go grab one.
What up?
What's popping?
I don't think it should be mandatory, but I think that's I'm with Backwoods. That's kind of a strong word, mandatory.
Yeah, I hear that. Brian, girl, what's up, young lady? Sophia?
Like idea at all because, you know, I think that the firearm should come with instructions in it. You know,
well, it kind of does.
Operating instructions.
Yeah, operating instructions, and it's on that person to read that instruction, read those. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in the instructions is like, hey, and I also think there needs to be laws for people who use firearms improperly. You know what I mean? Like some laws that if you commit a crime with this firearm, you know, you get extra. You know what I mean? Or if you flag somebody, you get extra. You know, you get particular consequences for improper actions. So that will force you to read that manual. You know what I mean?
Well,
if not, because some people are not very good readers or learners, and I know there's a lot of sugar in people's diet these days, and they don't focus very well. So you get all the classes in the world, and they still turn out. What did you say? What did you say, Backwood? What you call it? Oh, bull.
Huh?
What you call the dumb guy? A bull?
A fool.
A fool.
FOOL.
Yeah.
Fool.
So you could teach a fool 1,000 times, but
Right.
motherfucker ain't gonna learn. You can train the hell out of it. That. Don't mean he gonna do. You know.
Well,
So
and I agree with that.
The other thing is, I think that the more mandates that you put on it, like I said in the Instagram when you drop the thing, they tried to do the same thing for voting because they wanted to control who could vote. They still do the same things for immigrants who come in this country. They bust their behind, they apply for citizenship. They got to take a test. And when the people in America have been here all their life, it don't even know how many branches of government it is. You know what I mean? And that's just to make sure that these people don't have rights that they exercise and pay taxes for. You know what I mean? Making restrictions and putting in regulations only is to preserve the power structure, but they tend to brainwash us to say we need it because these people are not worthy or irresponsible or irresponsible.
Let me ask you a question now.
What's up?
Is that worth the actual fact that people are unsafe? Are you willing to risk safety just to alleviate somebody having power or government having power over?
Billy, it's the same thing when I look at, like, after the Civil War, right? We get into a little bit of history. Everybody was given like equal rights. In Louisiana, believe it or not, and Mississippi were some of the first states with black congressional representatives. What the fuck changed? The thing that changed is they changed the voting laws so you had to be a landowner or you had to pass a particular test and all this shit. That set African American progression back almost 100 years into the 1960s, bro. That was the consequences of these people are not educated enough to know what the fuck they want for themselves or how to protect themselves.
So let me ask everybody this.
Actions. And then they tell each other, like, hey, his dumb ass can't vote. Who he gonna vote for? Chicken George? You know, and that was and we lived with the consequence of that for more than 100 years. And that's the reality.
Let me ask everybody this. When you purchase alcohol, when you purchase cigarettes, and when you purchase a firearm, there are limitations on age, right? And for the most part, it seems like most of us are cool or we accept it. And those are mandatory. You can't get around these. You have to be a certain age. Now, we don't know if a person is mature enough or qualified by age to handle a firearm. We just don't know. I know children that are more qualified than a lot of grown-ass people. Yeah. But all of a sudden, here comes a time in life where you become a certain age, and that mandate, people are all right with. Nobody ever said, well, why the fuck can't my 7-year-old buy a gun? You know what I'm saying? That just didn't exist. Or, well, it exists, but people don't really question it. But when it betters the safety of a firearms community, and we say something like, you know, can we or should we take some type of training prior to a purchase? Not every purchase, but a purchase. Now, I'm not saying I'm for it or against it, but I'm just saying that we decide what mandates are okay and what seem like they're a little too.
Well, let me ask.
Convicting people before the crime. Real. We're convicting people. Seriously, we're convicting people like, hey, make sure this person doesn't do this, or make sure we don't see this happening before it happens, when you have to increase the consequence of something happening. And that's use that as a deterrent, not like try to prevent it from happening, because people are going to be stupid, period. You know what I mean? People are going to be dumb, period. And people are going to be disrespectful, and people are going to violate. It's damn near human nature. But we have to do something about what's the consequences of this. These people are shooting kids in the street, and you see them 3-4 years later.
Yeah.
And what the fuck they going to do 3-4 years later? You think they learn their lesson? They pick up the gun and do the shit again.
True.
You see what I'm saying? But if the consequence was you shoot somebody, you deal with you. We're not going to see you for a really long time. Really, really long time. You know, to handle that firearm responsible. Not just say, you just can't have it. But if you have it, it comes with a responsibility. If you violate those responsibilities, you get the consequences. You can't punish your kid before your kid misbehaves. That's like child abuse.
That's a good point. If you CT just made another comment that I think is a really good point.
What's that?
Right here.
I can't see. That's my man. Cool. What up? What he said? I can't.
He said if you use alcohol or smoke as directed, there are negative effects. If you use a gun as directed, no innocent people will be hurt. He ain't wrong.
And secondhand smoke kills more than regular smoke.
That's true too. That's a fact. He's not wrong.
Secondhand smoke kills too. You got the
Skilly,
right to
kill bro. What happened?
Everybody else in every other way. Shit.
Skilly, what's your opinion on it?
I believe regardless if you do have to do training, you're gonna have accidents. Unfortunately, let's be real about it. You're gonna have accidents. Just like you're gonna have somebody get in a car, drink and drive, knowing they shouldn't do it. They're gonna have an accident or gonna kill somebody in the process. You just hope that.
So let me help you out, because you said something that makes me have a simple thought. Now, for a lot of people that have been in drinking and driving incidents, there are repercussions, and it's not always jail time. It's education. Am I right?
Yeah.
It depends on how much money you got.
Well, see, because you said it, but jail is actually not supposed to be totally punitive. Jail is supposed to be about rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Being able to quote unquote pay your debt to society and come back re-educated so you don't do that again. Now that's ideally that's what it's supposed to be. Now we know that that's not what it is.
Right.
Is that what we want it to be?
You have a system that operates on some bullshit because we know exactly what it does. But
we want jail to be a punishment. Come on, Dak. You want some jail?
No. I want to see punishment. But I'm telling you, the ideal of it is what it's supposed to be, so you can go pay your debt to society and come back and be functioning in society. But it's turned into something that it's not. That's what it's
wanted to be like that. We wanted it to be like that. We wanted.
Actually, if somebody does something to my family, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want them to go to jail.
After things happen with drunk driving incidents, is a lot of times they'll make them go to a class.
Yeah.
That's part of the reform. They'll it has no jail time, nothing. You just have to go now to a class, and you have to sit through these videos to let you realize and understand that there is some type of mandate punishment. But at the same time, let me re-educate you on what you shouldn't have done and the right steps to take. I think that should be a possibility, within the firearms realm. There's a lot of times when people do shit that violate actual gun laws.
Believe it or not, Billy, in a lot of states, that drunk driving thing has activated gun rights, because here in Virginia, if you get a DUI, it's a fucking felony, bro.
And so here's the wild part.
You lose all your shit.
Armel, it's perfect that you say that, because now a guy who didn't do anything wrong with a fire or related to firearms will lose his right to own a firearm, and he don't even know. And when you purchase a firearm, nobody says, "Hey, listen, if you catch a felony, you're gonna lose the right to." They know.
You catch a DUI in Virginia, you will lose your shit
just that quick. That's something that I think should be educated to a buyer, a new buyer, and you don't
think that that's common knowledge that if you get a felony, you can't buy a gun.
No, it is, but a lot of times the plan to be a felon doesn't happen while you're purchasing the firearm. But that could,
a lot of people know that in certain states, getting drunk driving is a felony.
Certain
don't know that. So they just go home. I plead guilty to drunk driving. I my class and pay my fine and go to fuck home, and knowing that they can no longer still carry or whatever they have is null and void.
Mhm. Yeah. Imagine you that when you're buying a firearm.
They don't tell you that.
It might keep you from drinking while you're out and about.
But I'm gonna say this: I don't drink because I don't want to even get to that point to where I have to go before a judge and have to deal with the consequences of that.
Yeah, it's not a pretty.
It's not
Like,
fun.
But hey, people get caught out there.
They do.
They get caught out there. I'm at a wedding. I'm at a birthday party. Just I don't never drink, but I had one. That's all you need, and you don't even need to have your firearm on you to lose the ability to have that.
Yeah.
Imagine that's part of the hour-long class before you purchase a firearm.
You could have had a drunk driving when you were 20 years old, and now you're 40, and don't drink no more. Found your way and change your life and everything, and now you want to get into firearms, and you can't.
Yep. But getting along those lines, do you feel that those two rights are less? Do you think that driving should reflect your ability to protect your life? Do you feel that becoming a felon for something that's nonviolent or has nothing to do with firearms should take away your ability or your right to protect yourself with a firearm?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it depends on the circumstance.
Yeah,
that's what I think. So, like you said, no, I don't think so.
That's a deep ass question because we really don't think about shit like that.
That's a whole different life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's an entirely different.
A lot of us move around just a-okay with what we're doing, not realizing what's really at risk.
Hey, yeah.
But I don't know, man.
yes, like some of us have, and we did know.
Carrying a firearm is a risk itself, and that risk you take, whether it's self-defense or whatever the situation may be, you carrying that firearm is a risk itself, and you got to be prepared to deal with whatever consequences come from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too.
Period. And you could take 8 million classes and be tactical Don, jumping out of helicopters, shooting with the dope shit, and one bad move, you got a hold.
Yep.
That's true.
Regardless of what classes you take. And you know what I mean? And sometimes the classes you take make you that much more dangerous.
Now I see Mr. Dixon's comment. It says he thinks it shows what kind of judgment you have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
classes become better killers.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I can see. That's why when you look at it, you try to you gotta take a step back from it because we're close to it because we for this thing. That's what we are. But I'm not that close to where I can't step back and take a look and say, hey, I see what he's saying. When you put things together, it makes sense. It's supposed to show like what kind of judgment you have. Can you be responsible? And doing something like that, I guess in the state's eyes, it's like, okay, you can't be responsible enough to do this. Why should you be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I'm going to agree with them, but I mean, that's when you look at it, you have to be able to look at it logically.
Mm-hmm.
Logically, you're not responsible. If you're not smart enough to read, why should you vote?
What is reading and voting? What does reading and voting have to do with?
Because you got to read the ballot, right?
No, you don't have to read the ballot. All you got to
I don't read that shit.
do is know the person you want to vote for.
Right.
That's all you got to know.
Well,
No person you want to vote for.
But I don't. I don't. I'm. That stuff is kind of like strange to me, man. It's just like I'm just asking myself, it's cool or whatever. And whoever choose whatever they're gonna choose, who's gonna regulate it? Who's gonna set the standard? And then you set one standard. Is that standard gonna be raised every time somebody else feel uncomfortable? Until it's oblivion, until it's almost impossible to own, like they did in New York? Where the standard is so high, it just depends on how much money you got and how well connected you are that you meet the standards. Or like college entry exam. Oh, you're not fit to go to college, so you got to get this score here. These standards that they set, that they put in place, and they said oh, we can't let everybody in this college unless you reach this minimum standard. It's to keep people out.
Yeah, that goes into a
It's to
you
keep
like
people
that.
out
That's another live too, Armel. That's
huh?
another live. That's another live too, because that goes into something totally
But
different.
it's all the same. It's really, when you iron it out, it's a lot of dimensions, but they just repackaging the same shit up and applying it to different things.
Yeah.
True.
They repackaging the same. My point is, whether I'm talking about voting or education or anything that they put these standards up, high school diploma, college degrees, they just repackage that shit up. Whether you get a job unless you got this type of degree or this type of certification, they just stopping you from excelling or advancing or defending yourself. You know, who regulate this shit? And they keep, and the same people who regulate it, every time certain people get to a point where they have these qualifications and have these eligibilities and have this education level and have these firearms, they raise the bar again.
That's true.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
That's the problem I have with the whole thing. That's the problem.
Armel, let me ask you this. And I just want to, like I said, I don't have a firm opinion because I'm so 50-50 with this. But let me give you my experience.
Mm-hmm. You taught yourself.
Arm 3. I taught myself. I did. Arm 3. I went over safety briefing. Took me about Zach, we say like 10 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
About 10 minutes. We had about 300 people looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And out of those 300 people, one person decided to ignore what I was saying. We went hot. And I gave specific rules, specific safety rules. And that person completely ignored that, proceeded to grab his firearm, conversate with the guy behind him, and started shooting. And I had to shut that whole range down again. That's somebody that I would assume has plenty of common sense, but didn't. I would assume had some I don't even want to say formal training, but some life training, but it didn't show up that day. 300 people, 299 people, including my son and my dear friends, life were at risk because somebody could not get that part together. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that I really, really don't agree with. And that's why I am for some type of small tidbit of personal training that could save lives. Rodney Brady's son was out there.
I'm chilling, man. I remember that minute.
You
made him leave. He packed up everything. He was a fool for it. You know what I mean? I just think he gets overzealous sometimes.
Nobody.
But it is what it is.
It don't matter who it was.
I'm not saying that.
Real though,
I'm gonna fall back because I just got back home from out of town. I just want to say what up to everybody. Bless and peace, everyone.
What's up, Rodney? But Bill, it was a guy in Georgia, Navy SEAL guy in the gun store, and I think he shot his friend who was a gun store owner. I read an article on that. Dude had crazy fucking training, but carelessness and neglect and lack of respect for the firearm, that shit can happen with training or without.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is,
training
doesn't guarantee the output.
That's true. That's true. And that's, let's see, when stuff like that, what I always fall back to is, does that mean you just don't do anything? Does that just mean you just like throw your hands and say, well, somebody's gonna fuck up anyway, so why do anything?
It's not a matter of somebody's gonna fuck up anything. That means that we got to do better at taking care of ourselves and each other. To constantly remind ourselves and each other, hey, this, and believe it or not, you would think that this firearm safety has been existing since firearms existed, and it's not. That's some shit the NRA made up in the 1920s.
Do you blame them for making it up though?
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't matter.
Listen, we ain't on the home on the range no more. We in gun ranges with people 5 feet away from you that's strangers, bro. That's a reality.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers get hurt.
Those ranges should have rules, and you did the right thing by giving a safety brief. And as you see, even with your safety brief, somebody didn't listen.
And that's why I say, even though they didn't listen, you should still do it.
Instead of saying training, we should also let people know. Well, let's educate. Let's use the word. Let's educate ourselves and each other. You pick up the gun, read it, check out the instructions, familiarize yourself with the firearm. You know what I mean? That's not something that's mandated. That's common sense. That should be common sense when you get it.
And you want to know what's funny? When you buy a gun, it has an instruction manual in it. I know, because every one that I bought from the store, open it up. It tells you how the gun works. It shows you the exploded picture of the parts, everything. So that stuff is there.
Some people buy used Tauruses and shit, man. They come with instructions.
I know. That's why I said every gun that I purchased in a store somewhere. Every gun that I purchased, I bought used guns too. Now hand me the box, I open it up. The manual and everything is in there. So there is a manual that comes with a gun.
Not if you buy it from the pawn shop, man. Buy the Taurus from the pawn shop.
That's true, but I'm just saying there are instances where there is a manual that comes with a gun. You just need to open it up and read it sometimes. That's what it's there for.
Some people can't read. What about Michiko? He's blind. Michiko, dude on YouTube.
Then somebody should read it to him.
Nah, should he not buy a firearm because he's blind?
See, I'm funny about that too. How a blind man gonna shoot that shit?
He should go on YouTube.
Right.
He can't see nothing. How he gonna shoot? He can't see nothing.
That's what I was thinking.
Hearing something like Superman, he can hear something. Oh, this over here. Oh, I'm like, to me, some stuff doesn't make sense.
Have you seen him though?
Nah, I haven't seen him. But
on YouTube. He dope. He a blonde dude, but he does like firearm reviews, and he got dope ass collections and shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you this question: is he blind or is he legally
blind? He's blind to the motherfucker. But he'll tell you everything you know about AK.
He can't see it all. Yeah, I'm funny about that. I'm like, you're selling a guy who can't see at all a gun.
Why not? Because he's blind, he loses his citizen
because his senses may be good enough to understand what's right in front of him, but his senses are not good enough to know what's 50 yards, 75 yards behind the target.
But let me tell you this: everybody don't buy guns for self-defense, though. At the same time,
well, yeah, you got collectors, you got people. There's a variety of
one of those.
I'm sorry, but I mean, kind of the point of collecting is being able to look at the damn things. You know what I mean, it's like
he can feel it. He can feel it.
I mean,
check him out for real. Check him out on YouTube. Dude is like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to firearm, especially like European and like war. He's probably one of my favorite. Michiko.
I mean, that's my thing. I'm just, it's just when you say that to me, I'm like, okay, the first thing I think of,
he blind as a bitch.
A blind man with a gun.
He a blind man with a gun and he shoots.
He can't see. He can't see a red dot. He can't see an iron sight. He can't see
nothing. Put him on.
Put the gun out there.
I know. He's like, check out this red dot, man. You look at it and it ain't even on and shit. And he's like, it's on, man.
Yeah,
this shit ain't working, man.
What the hell?
I just tell him it wasn't working, man. Just to fuck with.
It done went left too early.
He's a deaf girl in the club, bro.
Tell him it's broke.
Deaf girl in the club, dancing her ass off, yo. Back in the days, she was deaf as hell in the club, dancing her ass off. She felt the vibe.
What it is?
His red dot is broke, man. That's what I tell him.
Man, there are restrictions on everything, real deal.
Yeah, real deal. There's restrictions. Let me
real deal. We go back and forth with this all the time, and we don't know. There are restrictions on everything.
It is absolutely.
Let me say this real quick to everybody in the chat. There's always going to be differences in opinions and thoughts and ideas or whatever that come through this channel. That's always going to be there. Don't for a second think that any of your opinion, mine at least, or anybody on this panel has a better opinion.
Right.
It's all about what affects us, what we're going through, what we're exposed to. the environment that we are around, that affects the opinion. And believe me, all of our environments, all of our skin colors are very, very different. So you have to understand our perspectives. So,
Right.
That no argument for any of this, but opinions are always welcome. But yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear that you're not right tonight. I'm looking at every single one of y'all and telling y'all in your face, you're not right tonight. Okay, because
Right.
it is an opinion.
Respect. Can't do nothing but respect it.
That's right.
Armel,
What's up?
this is an
Armel,
opinion.
different though.
What's up?
I love you, man.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say, man. You want to make me want to blush, but I can't. I'm supposed to be cleaning up, so I can't turn my camera on.
You made him speechless. He just stopped.
Nah, yeah, I'm cleaning up before I get a foot in my ass. So,
Well, can I read something to y'all?
Shoot, go ahead.
So it talks about arms, discourage and keep the invader and plunder in awe, the preserve order in the world as well as property. Horrid mischief would ensue were the law-abiding deprived the use of the firearms. Thomas Paine. Okay, so right there is one of our founding fathers who ensured, us with the Second Amendment, that we have that natural right. And even he is acknowledging that the law abiding.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So they understood there were going to have to be laws.
Yeah.
And there were going to have to be rules. You know what I mean? They established like even a government themselves and made some laws. But
not even to get religious. Even in the Bible, there's a kingdom that has a set of rules and laws. And I mean, that's just it's part of just being a freaking human. I don't care, you don't gotta be religious or not. One of the first things that was said was, hey, don't do this. If you do this, this is gonna happen. When they went and did it, what happened? They had a consequence. There was a law that was established, they broke it, and they had to deal with it. It's from the beginning. It's just it's how man
that makes
is.
all the sense in the world, Zach. The only problem is once the law, you have to let the law be the law, and you can't change it for your every fucking convenience. And that's the shit that we going through now.
So here's the thing, man.
I don't agree with that.
Here's the thing, and I almost do disagree with that. When you fall in love with your wife, the wife that you fell in love with is not the wife that you love today. Shit changes, and
that's a fact.
Times and change with that, and laws might change too. So they are not, believe me, we are here now and we're hot now on this topic. We're hot about what's going on now. But believe me, 50 years from now, the shit is going to be different. 50 years ago, the shit was different then. And we have to just continue to fight through it and what we believe in and what's going to affect us.
Yeah, I wish my wife changed. My wife's still the same person, bro.
Damn.
She's still
you. Maybe it's you.
You're right. I'm like, I don't know how to take that. Because I expect everybody to change. The older you get, the more knowledge you have.
No, sometimes it's not knowledge. Sometimes it amplifies. I mean, sometimes the person that it was the same person. It's just that some qualities became more and some became less, but they were always there.
Yeah.
I mean, and Rip Curl he's got a point there too. If it's free, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, but people when you say you have to do something, when it's like a mandate, when they say that's what people get into it. Because if somebody offered me a free class, there's plenty of things I can go learn free class at Home Depot, all type of stuff. I'll go take it because it's free.
Well, they gave us a free tax stamp and ain't nobody take the shit but me.
Well, see, but the whole thing about the Second Amendment and our rights and everything is that a well-regulated militia. That was the very first thing the man said, a well-regulated militia. Back then, Regulated didn't mean like make laws against. It meant that you were proficient, you were trained, you understood how to use this firearm, and you were ready to engage in battle with that proficiently. It even Richard Henley. Huh?
So what you're saying to me is they expected this conversation. They expected people to be well trained.
Yes.
Before they bear arms.
Yes. It even hold on.
I don't agree with that.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Richard Henry Lee was one of the Federalist writers, okay, on the Second Amendment. And he said, to preserve liberty, it is essential that the whole body of the people always possess arms and be taught alike. Especially when young, on how to use them, the firearms.
And also, those Virginians that used to live down the block here, they also put in certain things called like the selective service that you're supposed to do before you get a student loan and all that bullshit. You're supposed to register at 18. So that was registering for the militia or for the military whenever it called.
I remember that.
They still do it still to this day. Or you won't get a student loan, you won't get shit. When you turn 18, you got a male has to register for selective service.
I remember that.
That's like registering for the draft papers. If they let everybody, male, able-bodied male, or maybe now female, or whatever you identify as, go into the military for a couple of weeks, you'll get a little bit of training. And then just go about your business, just a reserve, standby. They can do that.
I think another thing that people might
don't want that shit.
I think what people might get their own idea on what training means. I didn't learn how to drive a car, nor was I trained how to drive a car when I took an 8-hour class prior to getting my New York license. It was just a mandatory thing that they had to show us. We had to say, yes, we've seen it. And that was it. All right. Go figure it out. Huh?
I never took a class to get a driver's license.
You could have not taken a class in New York to get a driver's license. You had to take an 8-hour class.
I never took a class, period.
Yeah, Billy, I never took an 8-hour class to get my driver's
class either.
Y'all older than me, man.
I scheduled my test and I went and sat with some lady and I went and drove the damn car. I didn't take no 8 hours, nothing.
I took the daggone test. I took the permit. We had an appointment and got a license.
Yeah,
back when I was young, we had to learn how to drive horse-drawn carriage. But I mean, yeah, then the cars came later.
I know you had to start them in the front.
Yeah, crank it with the wheel.
Right. Right.
So either way, there are things that you have to take a class prior. I had mentioned in the short that in order to help birth my first daughter, I had to take a Lamaze class.
You had to?
Suggested. In me being 14, 15 years old, I said, okay, I'll do anything it takes for me to do so. So what I'm generally saying is I don't want people to think that when I say should training be mandatory, I'm not talking about going in with an instructor actually shooting and da-da-da. I'm talking about an hour video, a half-hour video, a 20-minute video. Are those things that we are willing to compromise to be able to purchase?
I think it's an easier solution. You know how when you go to the range and you fill out your range safety thing and you got to watch your 5-minute waiver video?
Exactly.
Right? So when you go in the gun store and you're going to purchase a firearm, you say, fill out the paperwork while your paperwork working because you sit here and look at this video.
So Armel, if you went to a range
like that, I'm just trying to come up with solutions.
I hear you. That's it's a great suggestion, because if you went to a range and you had your firearms, you've been shooting for years and years and years, and the range said, well, we have criteria that we need you to fulfill before you shoot here. Would anybody say, what's up, my American right?
No, it's their shit. You got to follow their rules.
Yeah.
So it should be up to the gun store. They said, hey, before we sell you the firearm, while your paperwork is processing here, it take what 20, 30 minutes or whatever. While you should sit down and watch this video while we process paperwork. You want to buy the firearm? Good, and that's good to go. That's all you need. Familiar, clear the firearm, XYZ. Buy. Hey, make sure you read the instructions for all your firearms that you purchase. Buy.
So let me lean into this.
Shit.
Let me lean into this because this is the part where now, like I said, I have no opinion on this.
Is that training though?
50. This is the part where it gets emotional. This is the part where it gets fucking real. Me and Zach had a conversation a couple weeks ago about it, and that conversation led into our earlier years of firearm ownership. Now, before I tell you what that conversation entailed, let me let you know that the leading cause for childhood death in America is by firearm. Improper storage, placement of firearms.
And that one in the head nonsense.
Fact. Huh?
And that one in the head nonsense, but y'all kicked me off the live now. I'm telling you.
Oh, no. Carry how you want to carry. Ain't nobody got no beef with you about it.
I believe
But
that is the main part that causes incidental deaths.
The main part is firearms owners not being educated when they purchase a firearm. That's my whole point.
Educated.
Where we came with that was because with that on that particular point, I'm a little bit different than Billy is, because I understand that if I want to keep something from somebody, I put it behind something that's locked, something they can't get into. Mm-hmm. That is a common sense thing that I shouldn't have to tell you, hey, if you want to keep this gun from this person, you keep it away from them and keep it on you, or you put it behind something that's locked so you can't get in it. You lock up jewelry, you lock up money. Some people, depending on where they live, lock up food in their house, all type of stuff. You lock your car in your garage because you don't want nobody to get in there. You lock your car doors. So if you want to keep somebody from getting to something, you put it behind something that has a lock on it and you try to secure it. But I don't think that, but for me, I was like, that's a bridge too far. I got to train you to put a gun inside something. If I want to keep something from somebody, I know how to do it.
Hold on. Let me address something. Let me address something.
I don't lock
6 or
stuff
7 people that I gotta address real quick. Listen, folks, what I'm saying on here, hopefully it shakes you up enough, but not to say, Billy, you're wrong, or that's wrong, and I'm wrong. Because damn for sure you don't know like I know. You don't know because none of us are statistic people. So it's not about what's right and what's wrong. It's about what's going to wake you up. I don't know the exact first thing that kills children. I haven't seen a dead child. What I'm saying is we need to wake up as firearms owners. And when you do enter into the world of being a firearms owner, I think education should be a huge part of that because children die by firearms. I don't want to get into that's the second most popular thing or whatever. That don't make a difference. What I'm saying is it's a huge factor. It's a huge part.
Yeah.
Thinks I'm not right about what I'm saying. It's not about being right or wrong. It exists, is what I'm saying.
Who's going to educate? Whose responsibility is to educate children about firearms? If you have a parent,
let me say this. Let me say it's parents because I'm gonna say this, and I've said this on many lives. My nephews, I don't leave a gun around them because they don't know nothing about a gun. So I'm not going to leave my firearm when they're in my house. As far as my children, I can put my gun on the table loaded. They will not mess with it. They have known that since they have been little babies. I've been having guns since they was born. That's when I started collecting guns when my children was born. So they know I can leave my gun. I left my gun on my kitchen table plenty of times and walked away. And it's still.
When you're a teenager, don't do that, Skilly.
Huh?
No, now.
What'd you say?
I'm giving you a little foresight as a father. When your son become a teenager, don't do that shit.
No, I wouldn't do it now. But
no,
I don't do it now.
Not to judge you.
We have a lot of parents hiding guns. This is the reason why I say I educate my children because I don't want them to get curious because they see it already. They know it's there. My son has been to the range. He loves the gun range. I just recently started taking him to the gun range. My son is not curious on what a gun to do. He knows about a gun. He knows what it does, what damage it does. I don't have to worry about him touching my stuff. He knows. Don't touch daddy's stuff. I tell you to bring it to me. That's where my That's where I line at because I educate my children. My children go to the range. My children has been about firearms today. They've been born. They know what a firearm will do. So they know, oh, I'm not going to go towards daddy's firearm, but they know what a Nerf gun to do because we done played Nerf house. So they know the difference. I don't let them empty my gun out, put the magazine in, and say, huh, oh, dad, that's really, really, really heavy. I said, yeah, that's the difference between yours and mine.
As a teenager, that changes because of the influence of
it's not
environment and video.
Knows about it. Now, anybody else that may come across a gun that's his age might get curious, but as far as he's concerned, my son goes to the range. He's not curious like the other children. That has been taken out of him since he was a baby. Since he's been walking dog, that's been taken out. Curiosity ain't in my son and daughter like other people's are. They know.
And that's the thing too. I agree with Skitty to a point with that because it's the reason why you introduce something because you take all the mystery out of it. If I say, hey, you see that box over there? If you touch that box, X, Y, Z is going to happen. You want to know what you just did? You made that kid want to touch that box. But if I say, hey, explore this box, it's nothing. It becomes nothing. It's just like seeing, like, because when Little's like, him seeing me with a gun is like him seeing me with a cell phone or him seeing me with a fork or a plate or a cup. It's just, and he's not going after it, looking for it. For what? It's not hidden from him. I don't make it a secret like, oh, this thing you can't touch. Just like, even with cigarettes or alcohol or anything, because you create the curiosity. Yeah, smoke up. But when you get older, if that's what you want to do, that's on you. But I'm not gonna hide it from you. I remember one time my oldest daughter, when she was in school, someone had told her that cigarettes was a bad word. It was crazy how they were trying to do it to like sort of make her scared of it. I'm like, that's stupid. All you did was give her curiosity. You know something? My daughter smoked Newports to this day. Now she's 28 years old now. She's smoking Newports, so it didn't do anything. But if you introduce somebody to something, you know, it's that whole thing. If you touch that, you're gonna burn. Yeah. What happens? You go over and touch the damn thing because you want to see if it's correct. So you take the mystery away from it. I agree with Skilly on that. Now anything can happen. You can get a child who decided to want to do something, but what your intention is to take the mystery away from it so that they'll know, hey, it's just something you don't deal with. You explain to them and they don't bother. Like, my son don't go looking for my gun. You don't have to.
Yeah, I understand, and I agree with Kelly, and I agree with you, Zach, as well. And I was around a similar situation, but teenage adolescence, like I grew up around guns, and I never had like a mystery to touch or a mystery to do. It was always guns and drugs in my house when I was growing up. So I had a desire to have those things, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as a teenager, you know, later on in life and seeing things that I've seen in life is like, oh shit, somebody's coming for me. Let me go get that fucking gun. Mm-hmm. Because I knew it was there. You know what I mean? And shit could have went all kinds of different ways. That's what I'm saying. As teenagers, as they grow up into adolescence, that child, that curiosity that you defeated, and they probably know and are familiar with the firearm and all that shit, you got to take for measures.
Okay.
You're back something outside.
You say be cautious. Just be cautious. I understand. And that makes perfectly good sense. That's logical.
Yeah, that's all.
Gina, how are you?
Hey, Gina.
These men are so rude.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to wait when we stop addressing women when they come into the room.
I said hi to Gina, but I wasn't allowed
Where you come from, first of all? You want to
don't worry where I come from. When a woman enters a room, you stop what you're doing and you address the woman.
Damn.
I was getting ready to say, when a man enters the room, what you doing? And you address that man and say, what up? Okay.
When that man comes in the room, he better take off his hat and say, hello, how you doing, sweetheart? How are you doing?
I'm going to put on a second hat now. You said that. Now I got on.
Huh? Gina, what say you? How do you feel about this topic?
I think it's interesting. And it seems like the chat is very split a little bit on it too. Yeah, but how many things did you learn after you self-taught yourself how to handle a firearm? How many things did you learn to do properly that you could have learned by just having some kind of instruction in the beginning?
After I shot a hole through my damn living room into my back bathroom, after that time, the
Like
shit I
y'all
wish
didn't,
I'd
y'all
have.
didn't go into a store or go wherever you did to get that firearm, knowing etiquette at the range and knowing how to properly hold it. Why so much controversy about some instruction? And I get it, the whole mandate thing that bothers me too. Like the whole thing with the COVID vaccine, people were so up in arms in, but you take your kids to get all the vaccinations to go to school. You don't know what's in those vaccinations, but you're all up in arms about this vaccination. It's like,
That,
come on,
I'm gonna
people.
point one way. Right, she's right.
Fighting. We just fighting to be fighting at this point.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
just
and
arguing.
I agree.
differences are so deep rooted when it comes to rights, freedoms.
You ain't got
Differences
none.
be
The delusion that you have is that you have them.
I'm
That's
pointing
the
again.
delusion. If you think the government ain't in all your business, you are delusional.
ooh,
If I wasn't married, I would be on her.
Right now you point at Armel.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then-
you put it on me, Brandon.
well, Armel's over there.
Now he pointed at Armel and
Armel's over
Kelly.
there.
Hold up, I didn't hear what you said. I was
Kelly.
I was saying if I wasn't married to this girl, I'd be on her already because she's kicking it. Her.
She said,
Her.
"Who is?"
There. The square.
he can't. Boy,
Yeah,
Coop,
right
Coop,
there.
I'm
keep your
just
fingers to
dyslexic and the
yourself.
camera flip stuff and it messes me up.
Coop, keep your fingers to yourself.
Man, we're about to see somebody get shot.
But no, I'll hit a couple points because I got like oil heating up and I'm frying fish in just a minute and shrimp. So I got business. But this whole thing about to hit a couple things. One, if you mandate training for something, all right, it becomes a joke. Driver's courses are a joke. What do? They sent you in front of a video, you run through this little course, and then you get out on the road and then do 95 miles an hour and kill somebody. I mean, that's just what happens. Look at automobile deaths every single year. Look at how high they are. All of them have licenses for the most part. They got their certificate. I took this course. I can drive. And I promise you, on my way to work every morning, I avoid like 10 accidents because morons are trying to run me over. And all they got to do is stay in the right-hand lane and let my little fat ass go. I mean, because I'm trucking on. But when it comes to this thing about child deaths, that's complete horse shit, Billy. I'm telling you.
It's CDC stats.
No, CDC stats, brother. If you look up accidental deaths by firearms, CDC stats will tell you there's less than probably 100 deaths every year from innocent children finding firearms and killing themselves or others.
But Coop, ain't one enough?
Well, hey, one's enough. But look at this, brother. More kids, more innocent kids are going to die from household chemicals every year than they do by firearms.
Yeah.
That's straight data. So why is the government coming to your house telling you where to store your bleach? Why aren't they coming to your house telling you where to store your ammonia?
Yeah,
these are things that are injuring more kids than firearms.
If your child gets his hands on bleach and ammonia, drinks it, your ass going to jail. It will happen.
If a child gets a hand on a firearm and they do something, guess where you're going?
To jail. So why not be educated?
Okay.
Why not be?
Well, I'm not saying don't get educated, but what I am saying is it shouldn't be government mandated, because when the government gets in and mandates stuff, guess what they can do? Oh, well, we mandated all this stuff and someone still did something, so we need to mandate more, and we need to mandate more, and we need to mandate more. All of a sudden, someone like me who had been around firearms, trained with firearms, but I didn't take any professional classes till about a year ago. Well, I couldn't have firearms because you're not trained enough. Even though I can build one blindfolded, I can. Yeah, trust me, I can hit what I'm aiming at. I can handle them safely. And I know plenty of people that were cops, people that were in the military, and all they know is pointy end goes down range, shoot where other people are shooting. And if you leave them on their own, they are the most dangerous people with firearms that you have ever seen in your life.
Training,
but they're trained.
And this is the other thing, right? The other thing about it, it's your responsibility
Yes.
Know what you're buying. You got
personal responsibility.
It's not the store's responsibility. Their job is to sell you shit. If you want to firearm, it's your responsibility to familiarize. If you improperly use that responsibility, it's your motherfucking consequences that you got to deal with.
Let me ask everybody this question.
Government don't shift it on nobody.
Let me ask everybody this question. If you lived in an apartment complex and you had some electrical issues, and instead of vetting a properly insured and licensed electrician, you get your cousin Ray to come through and fix it up.
And burn the fucking house down.
Now, I live next door. I own the apartment connected to you. I have to now reap the negative recourse.
Yes.
You didn't want somebody that was properly trained doing work on your home. And that's what happens every time we go out to the range, every time we go to an event shooting.
Crazy shit, Billy.
Your life, because you hope this guy was proper.
You brought up a bad thing, Billy, because that shit is crazy.
Well, see that all comes down to personal responsibility again.
Hold up, cool. That licensing shit is big. Like, say for instance, right? You wanted to become an electrician. So they say, I'm not going to college, I'm gonna become an electrician. So you think you just gonna get trained to become an electrician?
No.
School, right? You go to school, you gotta go through an apprenticeship program under somebody for some fucking years. And if you don't complete those years with them, you got to start all over again. And you know how to do the fucking job.
And learn a code book on top of that.
Do you want to learn by touching two wires that you shouldn't, or do you want to learn not to touch those two wires that can kill you?
Well, that person that touches those two wires together that'll kill them, that's what you call Darwinism. You just took an apprentice and knocked them out of the park.
Born knowing that they need to do a certain thing.
He says that.
Well, you know, look,
learn to do certain things.
So coming from someone who trains people how to weld, okay, I can show someone 900 times how to do something, and if they don't do it that way, again, we're back to personal responsibility, baby. That's on you.
That's true, but you made the thing is taking the time to try to learn it. Everybody can't learn something.
Anybody
to attempt it.
Well,
like I can't learn to do everything, but I can take the time to attempt
you
to
can.
Understand it.
Well, we run around today and we have these things in our hands that are supercomputers. We can pull up any information. So it's down to personal responsibility. If I want a gun, guess what I can do? I can look up firearms trainers.
People who give me correct instruction, there's always going to be one that's not. And what if I pop on the one person who's not?
Well, that's where
I think I know what I'm doing.
That's where we get down to discernment.
Correct and what's not.
Yeah.
Excuse
me. That's where we get down to discernment.
Not because what you call what some people may call I watch a lot of stuff, and they said this proper training. This is how to hold the firearm in a self-defense situation. And me knowing self-defense situation, what Zach was doing in his short was closer to self-defense than all that fucking formal training that they give in class. Hold to. Oh wait, let me put both hands on the gun and get my grip right.
What?
But how did you learn that?
Real self-defense shooting is point and shoot. It's get the fuck up off of me.
Yes.
That's real life shit. It ain't enough qualified people to train to do that because most people haven't done it or been in those type of situations.
Yeah, well that's where
who qualifies the trainer?
That's where you vet your trainers. That's where
it ain't
where you do
it ain't
your
enough
research.
Real ones out here, Coop. It ain't enough real ones out here.
There are
not enough real ones we teach ourselves because we know better.
There are a lot of real trainers out there. Like I said, I trained with War Poet. I spent 2 days up with them doing a Pistol 1, Pistol 2 class. And I thought I would be bored during the Pistol 1 because, I can run a gun. But their class was great. And I found out during that first day, I'm weak in my malfunction drills. Because when my gun malfunctioned, I just dropped the whole fucking mag, slapped the mag in there and went. Instead of tap, rat, try to clear. No, I just cleared the whole gun and went.
So, Coop, what the hell was you training for? Fucking go to war in Afghanistan?
How many
No.
bags do you need, bro?
Hey, look, guns malfunction, baby. It doesn't matter how good the gun's built.
In a
It is going to
self-defense
malfunction.
situation, it's the shoot and get the fuck out of there in real life.
How did we get to this point though? we talking about a 10, 15, 20-minute video about the basic rules of firearm safety and
We
ownership.
do that.
That's all I'm talking about,
What-
Armel.
what-
I'm not talking about jumping out of a helicopter right now.
I know,
No,
but
what-
this is what they training for and taking people money for. Jumping out of helicopters, shooting 100-yard target, and proper grip shit. For you ain't gonna remember the shit when the shit go down. Stupid.
No, it's
And that's the fuck I'm talking about. And that's what I'm saying is that's what these trainers are selling. They selling bullshit.
Yeah, but you see, he made a point. He has a good point there. He said no self-defense event is the same. You train for the awareness, not events.
Exactly.
Because I've had that conversation too. Because this training is not, you don't train specifically for an event to happen. It's so you have some sort of frame of reference if something does happen. But you'll be able to move into what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Really to just I'm gonna move and function, and I'm not just gonna stop and what am I gonna do?
Okay.
So, I mean,
how many of us in this chat right now have a fire extinguisher sitting in your kitchen in case something happened in your kitchen and oil caught on fire?
I have two in my house.
Yeah,
I try to keep a couple around. Now, do you know? Have you studied how to pull the pin, sweep the base of the fire, all that? So but no one had to like bend your arm to get you to do it, right?
Right.
You
learn. I made sure I had the right type of fire extinguisher too.
Right.
So I got ABC fire extinguisher in my kitchen, so I can put out solid, I can put out oil, and I can put out electrical. I don't run any flammable metals in my kitchen, so I don't need a type D fire extinguisher. But you learn to do these things, and we all have access to all this information.
It was more than that. It wasn't just buying it. Buying it doesn't teach me how to do it.
No,
it just
it
lets me
doesn't.
have it.
Did I need training to learn how to fry chicken? And that's some dangerous shit.
I learned how to fry chicken. I got taught how to fry chicken. So I just go in the kitchen and start
frying chicken is some dangerous shit.
I like to caught my house on fire frying egg rolls, baby.
I'm
make it, baby, man.
How many grease burns it took me?
What the fuck?
We jumping around.
Cancel. That's it.
Damn. I got a necky butted child running around behind me, mooning everybody.
Oh man,
3-year-olds, man, they're like little drunks. I swear to God.
You offended his ancestors.
And probably.
All in all, man, like I said, man, this is a conversation. I don't know if it's ever going to have a end because there are no facts to our conversation. There's only opinions.
Well,
They're the firearms could have a 5-minute class while you waiting for your paperwork to run. For real.
I'll argue with you about there are no facts because
those are private dealers. Those are private dealers, and they have the right to not sell to you. But they can also take on the responsibility of, hey, I'm selling you this firearm. If you never bought from us, watch our video. Sign that you watch the video while we process your paperwork.
So, but let me ask this then. If you say, hold on, let me ask this. If you say that the firearm dealership should, like, do a video, does that not make them, with the court system we have today, could that not make them liable?
Liable, yeah.
That would actually kind of be a release from liability. Because they can say that they showed you this video.
Well, exactly. They showed you how to use the firearm, and all you got to do is say, well, they weren't clear.
Well, I mean, you're right about that. There's always a way to come back.
There's always a loophole, but that's better than nothing.
But the biggest,
if you want the training, that's better than nothing.
Man, these ambulance chasing lawyers out here, man, I'm telling you, they have corrupted. Man, McDonald's, getting sued because they had hot coffee.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
They're not getting sued for hot coffee. They're getting sued for cheap ass cups.
No, well, they got.
How many times did that woman buy that cheap ass cup every day?
But she paid $2 for a penny cup, and it couldn't even hold hot coffee.
Yeah, but see, we could go back to the thing of buyer beware.
Yes. When you have
educate
a
before you buy.
styrofoam cup and you
So
have
back to the thing, it's your responsibility before you buy that gun to familiarize yourself with your purchase.
yeah.
So what training do you need if you educated consumer?
In what way? Please explain.
Educate yourself. I'm going to buy a gun. What do I need to know about a gun? Turn on a dumbass YouTube machine. That shit is in like 140 languages, and everybody got a smartphone.
So we'll rather do that. I get it.
You know what I mean? That's your alternative. You could go get training and get trained by the wrong person, and you can't vet them because you don't know no better.
But if you have the option to actually go and get instruction, why not?
Well, you should, but the biggest thing is it shouldn't be mandated by the government.
See, everybody gets hung up on that
because the government's going to be
that word.
The government's going to be the one who's going to say, okay, well, everybody had to have this level of training. Well, this person still did this stupid stuff. I
don't buy guns for self-defense.
So now we have to raise the level of training so much higher, and that's going to cost so much more. Well, guess what? My little fat ass can't afford to go spend, $1,000 on a class. I spent $400. Well, I spent $800 since I did 2 days. That's a chunk, and then you got to factor in hotel rooms to travel because they're not, in my neighborhood.
I think the biggest part is us kind of shooting for the sky when it comes to training. Like I said, I'm talking about a 10-minute video. It don't cost nothing. It don't travel nothing. When you are in a store and you're looking to purchase a firearm for the first time, you have to watch this video.
Well, you can almost think of it like, say, a hunter safety course. So before I go and get a hunting license, I've got to sit through a hunter safety course. Now, the thing again is the government mandate from it. Because like one of the hunter safety courses I took was, say, a couple hours. You watched a video, you did a test, you got a hunter safety card. Okay, in another state, I did 2 days worth of hunter safety course before I could actually do a test and then get my hunter safety card.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is where we get into personal responsibility again. Okay, my personal responsibility is to know the game laws and to know how to use a firearm, and that is, my responsibility. So if I misuse that firearm, guess what? That's on me.
To preserve the longevity of the sport, they want to make sure that they know
Well, yes.
Am I right?
Again, we get into should it be mandated?
The hunting thing, yes.
To me,
the hunting thing, yes. The reason why
why yes on the hunting thing?
Yeah, because yes on the hunting thing. Let me tell you why. Because if you're not educated on a hunting, you can wipe out an entire population of deer.
You can wipe out a fucking
baby growing in my backyard. You know what I mean?
That's the problem. You can wipe out a whole building of people.
But again, we run into this deal in between personal responsibility and a government mandate. Okay.
I'm asking a question. When is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just sort of, I guess I don't know if I'm playing the devil's advocate, but when is it the government's responsibility?
Never.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
What I'm saying. No. I pay taxes. So I'm paying for something. When is it their responsibility to think about the collective, not just the one person? Think about everyone having some sort of safety or whatever. I'm asking
their job.
When does that take place? Because if you just leave it to personal responsibility, shit just gonna always be fucked up. Because most people
their job is to clean it up. So when you cross the line, their job is to take your ass up. There's to clean up the mess. When you call the police, are the police there when you need them or after the fact?
After.
Okay.
After. So what's the
I gotta bail, guys. I gotta finish cooking.
We had the live last week. Cool. The government job is after the fucking fact.
Hey, much love for everybody, man. I love every one of you guys. I try to keep up with every one of you guys. You guys are freaking outstanding.
Thank you.
Love your families. Take care of your kiddos. Keep that thing on you at all times. And I'm out. You guys are cool as shit, man. I love every one of you guys.
Yeah.
Later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, after the fact. So the government job, here's the law. You follow the law. You cross the law. Your ass paid. Period.
I have a question.
Before the law, you're responsible for the consequences of the law.
I have a question. Does anybody know anybody personally that has been unalived due to just a mistake, like a incident with a firearm?
I do.
I know two, and they were kids, both of them. I know no kids who died from chemicals.
I know a friend.
And I know two that from just playing with one.
I know.
Now, let me ask you this. All right. Let me get into rewind about a half hour or so. I owned probably about 10, 11 firearms before I purchased a safe. Straight up, me, Billy. I owned about 10, 11 firearms before I purchased a safe.
I have more than that.
Straight the fuck up. This is me being.
We had this
open
conversation.
book, everybody. Open book. I kept my shit up here where I'm in this room. I kept my shit up there on the shelf. I kept them under my bed in the boxes that they came in, and some of them were cardboard boxes. That's my straight up truth. I didn't take it serious because at no point did anybody ever say to me, "This is how serious it is." Straight up, Zach.
Well,
everybody loves and respects Zach. Zach, how long and how many firearms did you have before you had a safe?
About 20.
Well, see, I went in. My wife told me
I got my safe first.
My wife said I could bring a firearm in, so I got a safe. So I was bullied.
Yeah, I didn't. It got to a point to where, and then this is before Little Zach came along. He just got to a point that I was like, man, I need to lock this stuff up. Because I'm the guy, I would go out of town. I got a buddy who's a real good friend of mine. I'd take my guns and take him to his house because I knew he was going to be there and leave him with him. Mm-hmm. That was the stupidest thing ever, probably. But I did it. But I had to come to that realization where I had to go get me a safe, get a little one, then you get a bigger one, then you get a bigger one than that. And it's something that it took time for me to, I guess, sort of move into.
When we buy a pistol, sometimes they give the cheap free ones here, but they upsell you a safe for pistols.
Yeah.
Like and that's a general practice. So the first pistol I bought, because like you said, I'm generally new. First pistol I bought, we got this safe right here. Hold up, let me turn the daggone thing. This thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't use this shit. I don't use that, but yeah,
you would have a Voltec too, yo, Richard.
Nah, that's what they upsell. They sell us, yo.
Yeah,
I don't know where y'all from, but the gun shops out here, they sell shit. They sell. You're not just gonna walk out with a gun and a box of bullets. You gonna buy some shit.
So what I'm saying, generally, what I was saying is not to be judged, but just to put a realistic approach or realistic understanding for the amount of shit or the amount of people in the world that own firearms, but never had anybody to tell them this is how you should do this. Not everybody has a community to turn to on YouTube. Not everybody's familiar with the conversations or any part of that, or even entertained by it. So if you purchase now, I'm not, like I said, I don't have a full fucking opinion on this because I feel two different ways. But I don't see an issue that if you purchase a firearm, they let you know about proper storage, about certain simple, basic firearms rules, even if it's on a piece of paper and you have to sign it saying, yes, I read and understood it. Those simple things could change the trajectory of what happens from that store to your house and beyond.
If they taught
I'm saying. Huh?
I agree. What if they that helped me a lot. Just the instruction from when I had my first instruction with Zach, that was the first thing we went over, and that was very it was informative for me. I didn't know a lot of it. Yeah, I think it's important.
What if they taught it in school?
Before you graduate high school, you had to learn. This is
I
what this is.
That would I would I
That's
would
a
I
touchy
wouldn't I
place
wouldn't
because
mind
schools
that
are
either.
real funny about anything that you
Every
teach.
firearm come with one of those, man.
Yeah,
Operated.
that's what I said. Every firearm
I
comes with a
got that.
manual.
Guess
Yeah.
what?
I
And
got that same one
every
on there.
cabinet comes with instructions and every shelf. And guess what?
People
People
don't read.
still don't read them and do things
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
there's that.
The cap of my water say twist, but I don't read it to figure out how to open the motherfucker. I just go at it. I'm a man. Goddamn.
You man. And man do dumb shit and man shoot through his ceiling and man do all that shit. But if you read the instructions, you probably wouldn't have did it. And you put the wrong screw in the wrong place because you didn't read the IKEA instructions. Every time a motherfucker don't read the instructions or follow the rules, he pay in blood. Every fucking time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
every time. I can't even remember. That's why they even come with instructions. Because every time you don't read it or follow the rules, you end up in a bad fucking situation. And that's before the training. Training to me, they do training here at the gun store. Training is the upsell, but it's your responsibility to be familiarized with your purchase. Know your size before you buy the shit. Don't just go in there. Oh, this is cute, and you a size 8 and buy a size 2. You know what I mean? That shit don't make no sense.
I'm not even sure what we're talking about no more.
What state are you in Rip Curl readiness? They taught that in school.
They taught it in school here.
Firearms.
Yeah, we had like when I went to high school, it was nothing to see. Like Princess Buttercups is saying that guns and kids that were in school, like the kids that would drive to school in their trucks, you would see guns, deer rifles, and stuff in the back of the trucks, man.
No, sir.
That was
the commonplace, yeah.
Yeah, but see, we had a gun range out behind our school, and we had a couple of the teachers that would come out there, and we could bring our firearms out there, and they would walk us through. Most of us knew. I grew up hunting, so I knew how to mess with firearms at a very early. I've been hunting like in the woods in a stand by myself since I was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was taught these things, but I mean, we were able to go in the back of the school, and we had a big dirt mound out there. It was nothing but woods out there, and we were able to shoot at the dirt mound at targets.
Did they have mass shooters?
No. No, people knew back then, man. Everybody had a gun, man. You knew better than to be trying to shoot at people because you'd get shot at.
Nah. I don't know about that, man. I just think it's the packaging. But I think for real, training, the word training or the act of training is the new wave in the firearm industry, yo. It ain't enough overhead or markup on ammunition. It ain't enough markup on the firearms themselves. So those gun stores and those gun manufacturers, whether it be SIG or HK, they got to sell some education, man. They got to sell an academy, bro. And it's a new hustle, and they pushing it. And I want in.
Talking about training, I think he meant to say more education. Education is what he meant to say. Because training, looking at a video is not training.
No.
That's education to me. It's not training.
Training is something they sell. Education is something you can do yourself.
Well, you don't just look at a football video. You go out and practice. You go out and train.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be a football player, it's the same way with basketball and hockey and driving and every single thing that you do, becoming an electrician so you don't burn your cousin's house down. I mean, these are all things. And I mean, firearms to me would seem like there should be more than just education. There should be training requirements of some sort. I do not like the mandate thing. I don't like to use it as that's what I don't like the government to be involved in it, because that's what they do is they just mandate it. And you can't mandate something across the board because not everybody is the same. Not everybody needs the same type of training that others do. Mm-hmm. I know people that have went into the electrician field that were just, I mean, dude just got it. You know what I'm saying? He just understood from the minute he walked in there to the minute he graduated. He understood, knew what was going on. Same thing with firearms, but we have them people in there, like you said, that you could show them 15 times, don't touch this wire right here, and they're going to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with firearms. You got some people who are out there, and look, when we did our concealed carry, my wife and I, we were there. There were 10 of us lined up shooting. We had 40 people in the class, 43, something like that. There were 10 of us at a time lining up to shoot at these targets. Man, this dude beside my wife couldn't hit the damn target, and we're talking 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He shot everything but the target. And I'm sitting there looking at him thinking, my God, man, I hope he don't give him a license, bro. Jesus, man, because if homeboy just starts shooting at folks out and somebody comes in to do dirt, in the Walmarts or something, I mean, damn, this guy's going to have a gun and just start shooting this shit. Even if he's looking at you, he's shooting her and him and that person over there and the canned foods and shooting everything. But the bad guy. There has to be some level of something, but I don't want to do the word mandatory, man, because I do not like government mandatory. They already, according to the Second Amendment and all the damn writings that our forefathers wrote, every single law out there is an infringement upon our Second Amendment, period. Now, I do understand we have to have some certain rules or you got chaos like we do now because no rules are enforced.
Yeah. I like what Chris Stevenson said. That is so true. Common sense is listen, rare in this world these days.
Mm-hmm. Hey, real deal, you better start talking because Armel's backstage.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump in. I gotta jump out anyways. It's a busy night at work.
Go ahead.
So I haven't heard that much for what you guys say, but I disagree with everything. First of all, I want to say I don't like none of you. I don't respect none of you, and I definitely don't follow none of you guys on YouTube.
You're a sweetheart.
We all know.
Damn, I ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight now.
So I'm just gonna throw. So when we start mandating, and you got to have a level of this. Who is in charge of who decides who meets what level? And I'm going to use this as an argument. So I think if anybody weighs over 250 pounds, you shouldn't own a gun because you're too fat to own a gun. Because when you own a gun, it should be your last resort. And so if you're in a dangerous situation, you should run away. And if you're over 250 pounds, obviously you're too fat to run. So you're going to use your gun.
Wait, what?
I mean, see how this gets?
I don't know.
I see where he's going. I know
what he's saying.
I think that a lot of people, at least for what I have in my head, which really doesn't exist because it just don't exist, is way past what I'm saying. I'm not talking about a criteria that would make somebody say you can or cannot. It's when you purchase a gun, okay, watch this video.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I think if you own a gun, it's your responsibility to learn how to clean it, to know how to use it in a safe, and you should get training. I believe in all these things, but what I don't believe is you or the government or somebody telling me I have to do this to be able to flex my constitutional right. That's where I draw the line. I agree with everything you said. You should be safe. You should have a safe. Keep your children safe.
Within some due time,
don't tell me I have to do it.
Within some due time, the possibility of it being something that becomes a mandate and becomes a common mandate. I'll rewind it again. The right to travel. Am I right? Everybody's familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Who on here gets in their car and drives to the store and leaves their driver's license at home? Anybody?
Sometimes I did it
Not purposely.
Yeah.
Purposely. Now, let me reiterate. The right to travel is something that is in the Constitution that we all do have. Am I correct? Which means I can drive my vehicle without operating it for commerce to and from wherever I feel necessary or that I want. That existed until these common mandates, which we don't give a fuck about because it's normal to us, 100 years later. But they did that, and we ain't got no beef with it because we were born into that. We were born into our parents having driver's license.
I agree with you, Billy, but I don't, because it's not written in the Constitution. I believe it's mentioned in the Bill of Rights.
I got a question.
So it's not a constitutional right, and it states that if you're going to drive commercially on the highways, you need a driver's license.
You need a driver's license, exactly.
And if you're not driving commercially, technically you're not supposed to have a driver's license. But states, what a lot of people don't understand is we're called United States of America because every state is basically their own little country. Yeah. The governor of your state is the president of your state. And when we have to go to war, we have to do something, we come together, we're United States. You know what I'm saying? So each state gets to decide if you should have a driver's license. And they all discover, guess what? We make a lot of money, so therefore everybody gets a driver's license.
Give them a driver's license. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But we go out and get it with no fucking problem because we realize that, or we think that's what we need. We don't. We don't need plates. We don't need registration.
Well, no. See, you keep saying no. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And it's mandated.
Right. It's
Where?
mandated in this
They made
state.
a law in your state.
You made it a law in the state.
Where? When?
Okay.
I mean,
You're not driving no car without license.
Well, I'll tell you what you do.
and insurance.
So
Don't
you
drop
guys-
down.
Now, let me say this real quick. I am not a lawyer, and I'm not giving anybody advice. But just the way that y'all think it's mandated, check it out for yourself. For yourself,
Let
check
me
it out.
tell
when
you
you get
this. If it ain't, they sure can. They communicate with the insurance companies.
Yes,
Which
they
is
do.
If
mandated.
you don't have those things in place, you're going to get penalized. You can't get penalized for things that are mandated.
Because they made a law.
It's going to be
yeah, they
financial.
made it. It's a law. So you
It's a
telling
law.
me in the state of Georgia, there's no law that says you got to have a driver's license?
Let me check my good old trusty old phone.
This is how screwed up Michigan is. Michigan's screwed up, man. But Michigan, it's mandated. You got to have license. You got to have insurance. And guess what?
Right, Mitchell.
It's
You sound
covered.
like a common
If
citizen.
you have an accident, it doesn't matter if it's your fault or their fault. Your insurance pays for your car.
Interesting.
Isn't that stupid as get out?
Yeah.
So we both live in Michigan. I hit you. It's my fault through and through. Your insurance pays for your car. My insurance pays for my car. That's how screwed up Michigan is.
Well, and the funny thing is, we just had this conversation the other day. So you're talking about a no-fault state. So in a no-fault state, the way that works is it's about injury in a no-fault state. Now, if I'm in a no-fault state and I'm driving and I hit you and it's my fault and I damage your car, my insurance has to pay for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My insurance, that's for property.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought if I hit Skilly, I thought Skilly insurance was
No fault only applies to bodily injury.
Right.
Okay, hey Skilly, I'll take back what I said about your state, man. It's okay.
No, I'm not.
And probably the reason you haven't had to show ID is because they can check all that electronically when they're pulling you over.
Just like back in the day, you didn't have to have insurance to have a driver's license. And guess what? Then some politician passed a law that mandated that you had to have insurance. And
it wasn't a politician. It was that citizen who went to the politicians wanting this to happen.
Yeah.
This stuff always starts at a citizen level. Somebody is on their pedestal and wants something done a certain way, yells about it long enough to the right people and get it.
It's the reason why here, where I am in the city that I live in, there's a particular state senator, whatever he is, who I can't stand. And some fool went to him and was like, listen, you don't need to have a grill here in this place, this close to your place if you live in a condo or an apartment building. So this fool went to the legislature here in Ohio and passed the law here where you can't do it. If I got it within 10 feet away from a flammable structure, it's got to be at least 10 feet away. If not, I can't have it.
And backward.
And that was some fool who made that happen.
What?
Backwards, completely right. Every law they pass takes away your freedom. Every time, what? Backwards? Well, that's a word.
Nothing.
Sorry, backwood. Backwoods. Sorry.
No.
Live, but Billy started.
I'll never drive in reverse, man. What the hell's wrong with you?
Damn.
Never?
Yo, backwards ass thinking. What you doing?
No, right? Oh,
But you
backwards
have to
ass.
right. Every law they pass takes away your freedom. I don't care if I never use that freedom. Don't take that freedom from me. Period.
I agree. I always get upset about the whole seatbelt thing. I'm like, if I decide to put my life at risk, why am I being?
I say the same damn thing. If I want to, that's all me.
I'm the only person harmed by me not wearing a seatbelt. Nobody else.
That's right. I remember when we were kids, our parents had those big giant Buicks or the Thunderbirds.
Right.
They'd turn around the corner, you'd be in the back seat, go whoop.
Yeah. You know what the seatbelt was when I rode in? This was the seatbelt. Put the arm out.
Again, a citizen who felt like that needed to happen, yelled to the right people about it, and got it into law.
Got a Karen.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
Just like back in the day. I mean,
that's true. That's true, Rick.
You have a pickup truck. Mom, dad was in the front, and the 5 kids were in the back of the pickup truck.
I remember that.
Man, I rode way into town because we lived out in the country where I grew up, and we went to the public, to the big city. Man, it wasn't nothing to ride in the back of the truck all the way there.
Yeah, most
Matter of fact, we used to argue about who get to ride in the back of the truck.
Right, who won't ride in the back of the truck?
Right.
Man, that was fun. So they said you can't do it no more.
And that's the reason why you had 5 kids, because if you lost one on the way to town, you still had 4 more.
I'm done.
Either way.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it was a thing of numbers. You know, you wanted to have a lot of kids back then because we didn't have the safety stuff that we do now, and then so you might have lost 2 or 3, so that way you still got 2 or 3 left.
That's right. You still have something to kiss goodnight.
This is when the shit goes left, man. We had 15 minutes to go.
That's like, what drives me crazy is when I see grown ass men on not a motorcycle, but a bicycle, and they got a helmet on, they got the knee thing. It's like, you're 35 years old and you got a helmet on.
He don't want to scrape himself up. That's okay.
Man.
Yeah, and you want to know something? That's his right to do it. He don't want to fall off. He don't want to fall off and hit his head. I was talking to someone. Matter of fact, Gina, we was talking to Mr. Miller. We were talking about the guy who was buying a helmet. And he was getting ready to get the helmet that didn't have the full face helmet. And the guy who owned the shop, who was there selling the bike, was like, "Listen, let me show you something." Went and grabbed the helmet that he had on when he was in the crash, and the whole bottom of it was torn off. He was like, "If that wasn't there on my helmet, you know what would have happened? That would have been my face."
Yep.
That made me if you're gonna wear a helmet on a bicycle, it should be mandatory to have a big light on the top of it, so that way.
But the thing is, with a person on a bike, it's not the bicyclist that's the problem. It's the people driving around the bicyclist that they have to protect themselves from.
Right.
That's right. That's why on my truck I got little stamps when I smack.
You know what I heard him say one time? I heard him say that they make these laws and stuff because once you, like, let's say you fall off your bike and you bust your head open and the emergency people have to get there in a hurry, right? Anytime they're speeding through, real sirens going, there's been a lot of wrecks, things like that. And they say that, if you don't cover these laws, and let's say that the ambulance is on the way to get you and it gets in a wreck, then they try to hold you liable for that kind of thing because they say, well, if you would have had the helmet on, you wouldn't have busted your head.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That and that's the whole thing, is that the reason why the saying goes, for those that would give up your freedom for a little bit of safety deserve neither.
Gary, like a motorcycle.
Oh Lord, here we go.
My name is Backwoods.
Ooh, there you go.
And I drive backwards. And I don't understand where Real Deal got backwards from.
Driving backwards. Man.
I'm
That's why
just
you wear a
saying,
seatbelt.
like,
Oh Jesus!
What is she doing?
I tried to let
Well,
it
they
slide.
play with their beard.
I looked at Billy and lost it.
Skilly, that's front woods over there. I'm backwoods. That's front woods.
That's front woods.
That's backwards.
Yeah, that's backwards for sure.
You know, Gary Brucey would be a perfect commercial about wearing a helmet on a motorcycle.
Well, you know, here in Michigan a couple years ago, they outlawed you don't have to wear a helmet on a bike now.
I tell you what, there ain't nothing scary than seeing a bunch of Harley Davidson Hell's Angels with safety helmets riding through your town.
But I think
Why is that scary?
You seeing tough guys with big old helmets on.
I mean, but that's the thing. I don't see what the issue is. If a dude want to put on a helmet, let him put on a helmet. He want to put on shoulder pads, knee pads, whatever. If you want to wrap himself up in bubble wrap, I don't give a shit.
Let him do it. Let him do it, but don't make him do it.
Well, let me tell you, in states that helmets are the law or mandatory, there's a specific helmet. It's a DOT. A DOT checked or verified helmet. So you can't even just wear any type of helmet that you feel like. If it does not have a visible DOT sticker on the back of that helmet, you can get a ticket for that.
Yep.
So I work with this guy, and he drives a Honda back and forth to work, motorcycle, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. But his turn signals and his brake light is broken on the back of his bike. Mm-hmm. So what he does, he got a helmet that has a light on the back of his helmet, and when he clicks it, and it does the arrow. No, seriously. And when he turns on the brake, it shows. It shows it's a brake light. It's
wow. I ain't never seen one.
I don't know what that costs, but I would think fixing the motorcycle would be cheaper.
Probably.
I think so too.
Anybody grew up with hand signals?
I mean,
I never had to use. Well, I did have one car where the turn signal was out that I had to use it.
I just looked to make sure nobody was too close when I make my turn.
When I took my driver's license test, you had to know the hand signals.
Yeah.
I did have to know them.
And every time my older sister and I would get in an argument, she would always give me a signal.
I bet she did.
You number one, right?
Right. Man. Hey, listen, folks. I think that we had an amazing, emotional roller coaster that we all got on and rode it all the way through. Say it different, Gina. We all got on and held on tight.
For safety.
Hopefully, I'm not sure if anybody learned anything today, but definitely was a good time and place for us to understand that there are some differences even within this community itself. And man, if they are not as 50-50 as they can be, they are, so it does exist. And people are very sensitive about safety. People are very sensitive about freedom. And
well, just know that 50%, everybody on this panel was correct tonight.
That's right. While being completely wrong.
I want to say this before you get off the air. It used to be 2A. People that was in 2A had a very loud voice. It doesn't seem we have a very loud voice anymore. Well, it doesn't seem when the politicians want to take away our rights, we don't seem to be as loud as we once were.
I'm gonna say something though, because I disagree with that, because I sat and watched things that I thought were horrific in this country happen. And I just knew that they were gonna do something. I was a little bit fearful. I was like, what they're gonna do? And they didn't do a damn thing. The gun lobby in this country is powerful. And if you don't think it is, if you don't think it has a loud voice, then I don't know what you're listening to. Because they're trying to do all these little small things, and they're trying to do that's what they do. They do stuff. If we didn't have the gun lobby that was loud and was spending money and stopping stuff, it would be even worse. So I don't believe that we don't have a loud voice. The voice is loud. It's just that there's another voice that's just as loud and has just as much money. You just have an opposition that is formidable.
Well, I agree with Zach, and I would
fight because the gun lobby has money and shit doesn't change because of what it does.
I haven't seen so many constitutional carry states in my life as of what it is today.
We're winning on a state level. That's
we're winning.
It is loud. The gun lobby in Washington D.C. make plenty noise. You know how they spend them dollars.
I'll say this.
See, look, but hold on. Look how
I wish we were louder.
Look how they just did in New Mexico.
Yeah,
that governor come out and folks went out and man, even some people like Democrats on her side, you know what I'm saying, spoke out against it. Was like, oh no, you can't do this. And
she didn't have the right to do it. Even under their constitution, she had the right to do it.
Yeah,
right. So and that got a lot of attention too.
And that's another thing. Oh, let Billy close his show out. Sorry.
No. I just want to say, man. Like I said, we all, we're a part of a community, and we need each other. We need conversation. We need disagreement. We need to know that we can talk things out and still be up here on the same wavelength. Gina, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, put Ray's comment up there so Real Deal can see it.
No, well, that's what I was gonna end with, man. If you didn't learn anything tonight, you learned it.
Fat people.
I appreciate everybody stopping by.